Welcome and good afternoon, volunteers, staff, friends of the Great Swamp National Wildlife Refuge, and special guests. I would like to recognize former Refuge Manager Bill Koch, who is with us today. It is my pleasure to open the program as it provides me the opportunity to be the first to thank everybody, all of our volunteers, for their effort and dedication. We are all living in difficult and uncertain times. Our daily lives are challenging, to be sure, yet here we are, recognizing our amazing volunteers. Your volunteer efforts and participation in today's program are a testament to your resiliency and adaptability. Mike Horn, Lenape Complex Refuge Manager, cannot be with us here today. But if he could, I know what he would say. Thank you for your amazing contribution to the Great Swamp National Wildlife Refuge. Your volunteer efforts are evident in every phase of our refuge operations. And with that, I will turn this over to Friends of the Great Swamp President, Steve Herdman.
Thank you, Jonathan. When I was employed, I would often daydream about spending time with nature and outdoors. It was something to be sought after, and I couldn't wait to attain that. The day after I retired in 2015, I came to the Great Swamp National Wildlife Refuge to actualize my wishes, and I've been volunteering here ever since, right alongside many of you. It was until March 2020, when COVID-19 brought volunteering to a screeching halt, not just for me, but for all of us who volunteered at Great Swamp. Yet COVID-imposed restrictions drove an increasing number of volunteers to the refuge looking for safe and stimulating activities. The increase in visitors included folks who were here for the first-time visitors, and some of whom have traveled quite a distance to see the swamp. Although the volunteers were not present initially, visitors could see and appreciate many of the contributions to the refuge that they've due to the volunteers. This included the Chandler S. Robbins Memorial Viewing Platform, the interpretive panels, well-groomed trails, boardwalks, and just a great habitat. Volunteers are such an integral and important part of the refuge and make such a significant difference in so many ways. Our volunteers, that's all of you, are passionate, dedicated self-starters who really care. I know it's been really hard to sit back this year and wait on the pandemic. I would like to thank our volunteers, especially those who pushed for the resumption of activities that could be permitted through adherence to strict safety protocols. The volunteers who greeted at the Wildlife Observation Center throughout the winter, the invasive removal teams who doubled up on the number of work days, the board members who met via Zoom, and the construction crews who continue to work on essential projects. I would also like to recognize the many volunteers who would have liked to come back but were unable to, or who wanted to return but were not allowed to due to volunteer activity that could not be performed following the current COVID-19 safety protocols. The desire was and is there, but the opportunity is not. Volunteer activities are resuming slowly, and there is progress in that regard. COVID-19 may haunt our thoughts for some time to come, but there's a lot of work yet to be done, and opportunities will continue to open up. Let's look for those opportunities and get back to work as soon as we can. I am very appreciative of all the work you do. You have been sorely missed, and you will be ardently welcome back. Thank you, volunteers.
It appears that the Congresswoman is still trying to get on, but her her staff member, Kelly Doucette, who we know from having been to the refuge before. And Kelly was represented the Congresswoman at the dedication of the viewing platform. Kelly, would you be willing to say a few words in place of the Congresswoman right now?
Of course, I'd be happy to. And she sends her apologies. I may have all seen she's hopped on a couple times and not been able to hear. And I think she's trying one more thing, so we'll see, but sends her apologies in this virtual world. Unfortunately, sometimes these technical things do get to us. She was in a place that she thought she would have reception and just doesn't. So apologies for that. But I know she's really thankful to all of you. Wanted to extend her thanks to you, Kathie, and to Steve, and to everyone at the Friends of the Great Swamp for all the work that you do to support the wildlife refuge. Obviously, big congratulations to all of the winners of the Milestone Awards. I know you've put in hundreds and thousands of hours to support the Great Swamp, and especially in this year when I know you couldn't be there as often as you would have liked to have been. But obviously you were promoting the mission of a place that we needed more than ever, both for, I think, for our physical health and our mental health. Our outdoor spaces were just so incredibly important. As you know, the Congresswoman is a great champion of the environment, led the Great American Outdoors Act last year, and takes a lot of that inspiration from the Great Swamp. Is very proud to have it in her district. And, you know, really the story and the history and the broad consensus that everyone has here around supporting our wetlands, conserving our environment is just such an important driving force to a lot of the work that she does in Washington. So thank you, everybody, again, for all that you do for the Great Swamp. And if the Congresswoman gets on, I know she'll hop in as well. But if not, we will, please let us know for the next event and we'll make sure that we can get her onto that. So thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. So Steve, Kathie, we're going into Milestone Awards.
Let's do it.
Okay,
Okay, I'll share the screen. Is that working?
It is.
yes,
Okay. So normally we would be handing these awards out in person, and unfortunately this year we cannot. But that does not mean that we do not sincerely appreciate all of the hours that our many volunteers contribute to Great Swamp and to the Friends. So Milestone Awards are presented when people reach a specific number of cumulative volunteer hours. People have worked in between those milestones, accumulating hours. Those are all appreciated. This past year, as you know, we were not allowed to volunteer at the refuge for several months. And those restrictions have changed slowly. So some people have been able to come back with safety protocols and some rigorous practices. We are continuing to slowly resume some of the other operations that are a little more problematic. We're going to list everyone who has volunteered since April 1st, 2019 through March 31st, 2021 in Swamp Scene, the July issue, with your cumulative hours. So congratulations to all and appreciate the difference that we all do make.
So I'll start off with congratulating our 150-hour volunteers that are getting that milestone this year, to Susan Katz and Philip Round. The first milestone award that we give is the personalized Blue Goose name tag, awarded at 100 hours. This year we have no one getting that by themselves, alone. The 150-hour recognition award gives the volunteers a pin to wear alongside their name tag. This is just the beginning of a milestone award pin collection that you see on many people's vests, and a visual demonstration of their commitment to Great Swamp National Wildlife Refuge. Thank you, Susan and Philip.
okay. 2,000, excuse me, 250 hours. Another pin is given, and we'd like to congratulate Betty Mills, Bob Muska, and Peter Ozzy Osborne. By the time a volunteer earns the 250-hour pin, they have demonstrated a continuing commitment to the refuge through the generous donation of time and talent. We rely on these folks week in and week out. Thank you to the volunteers who total 250 hours and do so much in the refuge, for like greeting visitors, fighting invasive species, trail maintenance, and serving on their Friends board, and so many other ways. Thank you.
Special congratulations to Paul Lauber. Sometimes a new volunteer finds their niche quickly, and so it was with Paul Lauber, who began volunteering in 2020 when he took his scope out to the Chandler Robbins viewing platform, sometimes on very cold days. After volunteer activities resumed in September, Paul started greeting people at the visitor center, at WOC shed right through the winter. He called to find out if he could shovel out around the shed after several snowfalls in February. In fact, he covered 109 shifts at WOC, and often with Betty Mills, who was there for 89 of those shifts. So congratulations and thank you, Paul, for your getting your 100-hour, 150, and your 250-hour pin.
So 500 hours, the next milestone. Volunteers who achieve 500 hours have their name engraved on the 500-hour honor roll board, which hangs in the visitor center. They also receive a personalized 500-hour plaque and, of course, a volunteer pin. This year, we ran out of room on our 500-hour honor board, and so we had to add a second one. It's not easy keeping up with all of the hours donated by our dedicated and generous volunteers. Thank you all. And this year, we have 3 500-hour award recipients. Oh, it's me. So Ellen, congratulations to Ellen Greenhorn. Ellen actively seeks out opportunities to learn new skills and gain new experiences, and the Friends have benefited greatly from this. She has led group walks, given interpretive talks at Fall Festival, maintains WOC trails, assists with outreach. She updated the Junior Refuge Manager table at the Visitor Center, and most recently is leading the development of the new smartphone app, Agents of Discovery. She served several years on the Friends board and brought a unique perspective to our discussions, which we miss. But thank you, Ellen, and congratulations. John, if you're muted, you need to unmute.
Strike team is very fortunate that Roberto Reisinger happened across Great Swamp shortly after arriving from Argentina. He quickly became skilled at identifying the invasive plants on our long list of target species. He is dedicated to the team's mission, protecting the habitat of Great Swamp wildlife, and thus joins practically every workday throughout the year. Perhaps most importantly, Roberto keeps a good sense of humor, despite the difficult conditions in which we frequently labor. Mil gracias, Roberto, and congratulations on this milestone.
Another wow, 500 hours, Kathie Willwerth. Kathie's always willing to help our visitors, the refuge, and the Friends group. She greets at the Visitor Center many Saturdays and Sundays, helps with special events, including Fall Festival and outreach programs. Her kindness and sense of humor are always appreciated. She writes and submits publicity for local newspapers and online media. When you see PR about Friends, you're seeing Kathie's handiwork. Thank you, Kathie.
So the next milestone, 1,000 hours. And we have a Blue Goose, we have 2 Blue Goose honor boards who recognize volunteers who have donated 1,000 hours or more. And with each 1,000 hour increment, another Blue Goose is engraved on the volunteer's perpetual plate. Volunteers who have reached this milestone also receive an appreciation gift and, of course, a 1,000-hour volunteer pin. We have 2 people this year who will be receiving their first Blue Goose.
Tom, and our first one is Tom Gula, and I'm happy to be celebrating Tom today. Tom retired as a high school science teacher and began volunteering as a walk leader at Great Swamp National Wildlife Refuge. His involvement quickly grew. He joined the construction crew, and he's helped with Fall Festival. Now he monitors and reports on the Bluebird Nest Box programs and assists with outreach programs. He's also a member of the board of Friends of Great Swamp and part of the core team developing our mobile education phone app, Agents of Discovery. We're so grateful for Tom for sharing his many talents in so many different ways. Congratulations, Tom.
So I met Matt about just over 4 years ago at the WOC when I was looking for a hummingbird nest I heard was there. And after he checked me out and made sure that I was safe, he showed me the nest, and we have become good friends over those 4 years. Matt Heist truly finds his inner peace at the Great Swamp. His service includes building blinds and boardwalks, invasive plant removal, trimming and weed whacking to keep the visitor center and other areas looking great, and sharing his knowledge of birds and wildlife with others. Matt recently talked to a mom and her son in a wheelchair at the Robbins platform, which Matt helped construct. She was amazed she could bring her son into the wilderness in his wheelchair for the first time to go birding, and was in tears. Matt almost was too. Thank you, Matt, for your dedication to the Great Swamp.
Last year, Terry Colmaine, who has 1,500 hours, achieved her 1,000-hour milestone. Since then, she's been busy. She greets people at the visitor center and at the WOC. She helps eradicate invasive plants with the pervasive invasive team. She joined the Visitor Services Committee, spent many hours in the wilderness trail maintenance. She keeps our brochure boxes filled with maps. She assists with outreach events, and she's a one-woman litter patrol at the wilderness area and Bluebird parking lots. Whew, congratulations and thanks a bunch, Terry.
I hope she's listening in since she can't be here. So Steve, when you want heavy lifting, the first person we think of is Steve Herdman, and he's always ready. There is nothing he likes better than hard work, unless it's being president of the Friends. Steve is in his second year as president, and although he will never admit it, he's doing a really good job while juggling the building of a new house in North Carolina and getting ready for a move. Thank you, Steve, for all you do, which is quite a lot in addition to heavy lifting. Congratulations.
Few people can really appreciate the importance of invasive plant eradication that John Berry has achieved in the past 6 years. In order to understand the threat that glossy buckthorn posed for the Great Swamp, you have to have seen the massive thickets of glossy buckthorn and how prolific it was throughout the forest and open fields of the refuge. It is no exaggeration to say that without his intervention and ongoing surveillance, the spread of glossy buckthorn would have destroyed most of the native plant and animal habitat in the Great Swamp. John took on the fight by learning about invasives. He talked to refuge refuge biologists. He read, and through trial and error experience, he learned how to a methodology for combating the glossy buckthorn and many of the other invasive plants that threaten the Great Swamp. He has trained myself and others on the strike team in the methods of treating invasives with herbicides. His overriding goal is the restoration of a vibrant native wildlife habitat, but he always stops to point out the beauty of the wildlife that is here. John usually leads the strike team 2 or 3 times a week, and he has been a member of the Friends Board since 2013. As if this wasn't enough, he cooks a mean hot dog at the Fall Festival. John, thanks for everything you've done and continue to do.
Yay.
The President's Volunteer Service Award Program was founded in 2003 to recognize the important role of volunteers in America's strength and national identity. Bestowed by the President of the United States, the President's Call to Service Award is awarded to recognize over 4,000 hours of extraordinary service. In recognition of his achievement here at the Great Swamp National Wildlife Refuge, we are proud to present the President's Call to Service Award to volunteer extraordinaire George Sullivan. George first began volunteering in 1997 and has accumulated 4,419 hours. He has been involved in dozens of construction and maintenance projects over the years and has been maintaining the wilderness area's Blue Trail and Red Trails for over 20 years. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is proud to present this prestigious award to George. George follows fellow recipients Judy Schmidt, Laura Gould, Kathie Woodward, Leo Hollein, Laura Nally, Lou Pisani, and Randi Emmer.
Thank you, Jonathan. And the Friends want to recognize George Sullivan as well. There are simply no words to describe the impact that George has made at Great Swamp National Wildlife Refuge. No project seems too large or too small. He really likes to build things, and it shows. The vernal pool platform on the Bachoven Trail, the Nature Detective Trail kiosk, the front desk and junior refuge manager table inside the visitor center, boardwalks and bridges on the White Oak Trail, the completely renovated garden club blind, the 600-foot boardwalk, and the 8-foot high Chandler S. Robbins Memorial Viewing Platform. These are just a few of his accomplishments, and each one shows the special attention to detail and the creative touches that he brings to every project. He heads up a dedicated and talented construction crew who are always ready to join him on the next big thing, which right now is the White Oak Trail renovation project. George exemplifies the definition of the Presidential Volunteer Service Award. Thank you so much, George. Well deserved.
Okay, I'd like to offer my congratulations to Leo Hollein. Wow, 7,000 hours. That should have 3 exclamation points. That's a lot of bluebird, nest box monitoring, wood duck, box cleaning, duck banding, and of course, special second Sunday presentations. Leo's meticulous and continuous record keeping. It provides a history of changes in populations for wood ducks and bluebirds, supporting informed wildlife management decisions. Leo is also the most faithful contributor to Swamp Scene, submitting 1 or more articles for every single issue since 2002. Truly an editor's dream. Thank you, Leo. And on a personal note, for the last 5 years, it's been my privilege to work with him, and he couldn't be here today, but I'll be sure talk to him about it and look forward to working with him for many more hours.
Yay, thank you, Tom. And as I said at the beginning, we are recording this, so hopefully you can share it with him as well.
9,000 volunteer hours, Randi Emmer. As chair, Randi has taken the outreach to a new level. She developed a suite of programs on topics ranging from Great Swamp history to pollinators and butterflies. She and her team take the refuge message on the road to groups old and young, including some Spanish-speaking seniors in Elizabeth, with our partner, the Groundwork Elizabeth. This past year slowed us all down quite a lot. But Randi quickly learned Zoom and has continued to reach new audiences virtually. Thank you, Randi, for spreading the word. Randi has been a member of the Friends Board of Directors since 2014. Congratulations, Randi. 10,000 hours. Kathie Woodward. 10,000 hours. Where do you start? At the beginning. Kathie was a founding member of the Friends in 1999, served as past president. Other officer positions and chair of many committees over the years. She has initiated or enthusiastically supported myriad activities and has served as a mentor to numerous volunteers. She's an inspiration to us all. She co-founded the Pervasive Invasive team in 2009 and has led or co-led twice monthly seasonal work days ever since, baking at least 10,000 brownies along the way. The brownies are the inducement to get people.
Yeah, they're not used to kill the plants, right?
No. She is a fervent champion of Great Swamp National Wildlife Refuge and will and does talk to anybody but the refuge. She is fiercely proud of the Friends and all that we have accomplished and continually strives to make our organization stronger and more effective. She is always willing to accept new challenges, but applies a critical assessment to make it right. 10,000 hours. Well, congratulations, Kathie Woodward. We're presenting Kathie with this 10,000 hour Blue Goose clock. However, we've heard that Kathie has too many clocks. But there's good news. This clock
Hi,
doubles
guys. This is Mikey Cheryl. I am so sorry. Can any of you hear me?
Yes.
We
Yes.
sure can.
I know you are just wrapping up and I have been trying to get on for the last half hour. I so apologize, but I just wanted to say really quickly, congratulations. Thanks for all your hard work. I saw some of the turtle presentation, which I thought was fantastic. So I just want to thank you guys for all the work you're doing. I think it's so important. And, we're working on some different federal opportunities to keep supporting what you do here at home, but I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for trying so hard.
Well, I don't know usually I don't have this kind of trouble, but I am in this dead area and I thought I had it figured out and I've been moving all around. So, but I really wanted to, and I'm glad I caught you guys. I just really wanted to thank you. And I know we'll be kind of getting more and more events together as we open up, and I can't wait to see you in person and thank you in person, but I did want to take a minute to thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we
Thank
look forward to hosting you on a tour when you can get here too.
I love every trip I've taken to the Great Swamp, and one of these days my kids are going to be out of school so they can come. So I am looking very forward to it. So thank you all so much.
Thank you very much.
We'll put a few
Thanks,
turtles.
guys.
We'll put a few turtles in your hand.
We have some turtle lovers in my family. So we've had some reports on the turtle migrations from the grade school kids. So that would be wonderful.
You bet.
I can hear you from all the way back there.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a great day.
Thank
You
you.
Okay, sorry. Kathie, I know you have too many clocks, and that's rather unfortunate. But the good news is this clock doubles as a book. And as you know, you can never have too many books. But there's more.
So not only is Kathie a passionate supporter of the Friends and the Refuge, she's also very active at the national level. She's been involved with the National Wildlife Refuge Association for many years, including serving as a board member and on a number of their committees. She has been a partner in the Friends Partnership Mentoring Program with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service staff. That program offers peer-to-peer coaching for Friends groups. In 2011, she traveled to Wisconsin to represent the Friends at the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service's visioning conference called Conserving the Future. And she has probably visited more refuges than any of us here combined. So the blue goose is the symbol of the National Wildlife Refuge System. And what better gift for a champion of that system than her own hand-carved, personalized blue goose. May it fly wherever she goes. Congratulations, and thank you, Kathie.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So congratulations to all our Milestone Award recipients. Your awards, your physical awards will be available for you to pick up at the Visitor Center during their regular hours, Fridays and Saturdays from 10 to 2. And again, and I know this comes from all of us, thank you, thank you. The volunteers at this refuge are astounding. Your dedication, your enthusiasm, your willingness to donate time and talent are so much appreciated. There's so much that just would not happen if it weren't for you and for all of us. So look around the refuge and you'll see signs of volunteers everywhere. It is awesome. Thank you one and all, and we certainly hope to see you next year in person. So thanks again. Jonathan?
So I want to take this opportunity to once again thank to all of our volunteers for helping to make the Great Swamp National Wildlife Refuge truly great. I also want to thank all of our special guests and presenters for their contributions today. Before we close, just a couple of reminders I want to share with you. All volunteers will be listed with their cumulative hours in the July issue of the Swamp Scene. Please report your hours. So you're out there working hard, so let's make sure you get your hours reported. How do I do that? Well, here's the best way to do that. There'll be a form in the next happenings for volunteers, and you can email that quarterly to Laurel, or you can drop it off at the Visitor Center, which is open on Friday and Saturday from 10 to 2. So thank you, and everybody be safe.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve, Laurel, and Kathie.
Oh,
And thanks, Kelly and Mikey.
Yes, that
Great
was
that-
nice.
It was short but sweet. It was good.
It was. It was.
And thank you, Jonathan.
You're welcome.
Best to Mike. And congratulations to everybody. They did a great job. And next year, I'm sure we'll be together. Absolutely.
Let's hope.
Oh, yeah.
Good night,
Have a
everybody.
good night.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.